In these last few days of Good Morning Chia Lincoln, we've decided to share some of our most beloved stories. Today will be one of those.
Let's talk about that. Good morning, Chia Lincoln. It is Wednesday, February 23rd, 2011.
We are moving at the speed of conversation. Thank you for walking alongside us. You know, Rhett, as these viewers, dedicated as they are, already know, and I think you know as well, we have known each other a long time, at least since first grade.
First grade.
So we have a lot of shared experiences. We've gone through a lot of stuff together. It's a wonder that we're still friends.
That night in jail, you want to talk? Or we're not going to talk about that.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were knocked out the whole time. We're going to talk about the Omega.
We're going to tell the Omega story.
Back when I was about 15, I was eagerly anticipating my first car when I was 16. And the way it worked in my family was I had an older brother, so you typically got the car that he had when you turned 16. Cole, my older brother, drove an Oldsmobile Omega.
Oldsmobile Omega.
That looked like this. Insert picture of Oldsmobile Omega. This is a very classy looking car, as you can see. But we lived on this dead-end road, and this is how I ended up receiving...
It was a dead-end road, but it was called Lynch Avenue. You know, it was called an avenue.
Yeah, it went to nowhere, though. But I was out playing basketball. We were at the end of the road, and I was out playing basketball one day, and I just hear my brother coming, and this Oldsmobile Omega is very loud, so you know when it's coming. And all I remember is Cole tried to spin out on our road as he came around the curve coming into our house, and he almost rolled the car over totally. He lost control, went up into a field, and the car came up halfway, then came back down. We never spoke of it.
And you're just sitting there playing basketball, watching this thing happen.
It was like a NASCAR wreck happening about 100 yards from me, but it was my brother, and he was in an Omega. But that was like the inaugural wreck, because after that, like a week after his near fatal crash on our road that we never told our parents about, I received the Omega. I turned 16, and I received the Omega. There was a ceremony. Actually, there wasn't. I just got the keys, and I started driving it. So the first thing I did was, I remember I picked you up that very first day.
Because I was still 15.
Yeah. A few weeks passed, and Link and I were in a band, the Wax Paper Dogs. Oh, I thought we were coming back. We were coming back from a show.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the band, but it's nice that you told him.
I usually insert that into conversation. We had a band.
You know,
in high school.
I was in a band. It was called the Wax Paper Dogs. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
we
weren't coming back from a show. We were coming back from the video store.
Because
yes,
Bowie's Creek didn't have a video store. And there was no internet, there was no Netflix. There probably was internet, but we didn't know of it.
Didn't know what it was.
But there was a locally owned video store in Coates that you would commute there, get the VHS tape, and you would come home. So we had this commute, this route that we would take. Halfway between Coates and back home in Bowie's Creek, there was this epic portion of the road.
Well, a straight portion.
And it was a big dip, so it was like, you know, you crest the top of a hill and then you go down into the valley, or the bottom of the hill really, and then you come up just as far on the other side and you get to the crest of that hill, and then you take a left turn and you can almost see Bowie's Creek. And
this is your only chance if you're going to pass somebody between Coates and Bowie's Creek on Highway 27. This is your only chance. You know, if you don't do it before you get to the Ron's Barn sign, you are screwed. It's not going to happen, right?
Right.
So we're coming back, and we're behind some guys going a little slow, and I'm like, oh, we're coming up to the pass, and I'm going to try to pass. Now, let me tell you about this Oldsmobile Omega. It didn't have a lot of power. In fact, I don't believe I ever broke 58 at any given time, even though I tried, as in this story. Okay, so I'm at the top of the hill. I've got some momentum. I'm behind this guy. Link's in the passenger seat. I'm driving, and I pull out into the passing lane. And
you're at the crest of the hill, and then you see that you've got the passing lane is open.
Right.
So you just start going down the hill at this point.
Pull over into the passing lane, and pedal to the metal. I floor it completely, and the Oldsmobile Omega responds as such. And I'm expecting that we have blown by
Well,
this
you know
guy.
what? It's like you're driving. Let's switch seats. Because you're driving.
Yeah, this doesn't need to be confusing.
Right. You're driving, and I'm in the passenger seat.
So I've just pulled out, and I'm like, I have blown by this guy. This guy he's way back there. And as I turned to look behind me, I realized that, oh, he's still a little bit in front of us.
Yeah, he's right there. So then you like.
All we've done is pulled out.
Yeah, and then so you let off the gas for a second. We kind of glanced at each other, and there was this moment of without saying anything, we were like, "Give it another shot."
I got the RPMs up to about 8,000, but I was still going 54 miles per hour.
I think it only had 2 gears.
There was something wrong with the car, but I'm like, I've still got a lot of room. Here we go. So, reboot.
And I'm grabbing the dash at this point.
We're exactly even with the dude now.
We look over there. I distinctly remember looking over, and I distinctly remember the guy looking back at us like
he made eye contact because we were making a lot of noise.
Yeah,
a lot of pomp and circumstance, but no moving. But listen,
he's just looking at us.
We haven't gotten to the bottom of the hill yet. I've still got gravity on my side, so
3 times the charm.
Still there.
There he is, and he's just
exactly even with us. He's not speeding up, people. He's not doing that thing that jerks do when you try to pass them, and they speed up a little bit. He's just not getting any faster.
He's just confused.
He's like, are these guys, do they have it in neutral? Are they prodding me up, are they tempting me into a race?
Yeah, or is their car just about to explode? Because it certainly sounds like it.
But we were at the bottom of the hill. And we're beginning to approach the top of the hill. So I'm like, one more time. There's nobody coming. I've still got this, I've still got a couple hundred yards.
And maybe he'll lose a lot of momentum going up the hill.
Yeah, maybe he's got problems with his car that I can overcome. Still there. In fact, he's moved up a little bit.
And then I look in front of me, and I see cresting the hill an 18-wheeler. It's like you see the trailer come over, and then you hear the horn. And it's just like, and then we look at each other again, and we're like, don't say anything. It's like, maybe we should back off.
So I backed off.
Get back over.
Keep in mind,
18-wheeler goes by.
I burned at least 7 gallons of gasoline in this little episode, but I increased my speed by 1 mile per hour at the most.
Okay, that was scary.
So that's how the Omega worked. I sheepishly got back into my lane, and we went on to Bowie's Creek.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that we had to go behind this guy the rest of the way.
Right.
So it's just like he's looking in his rearview mirror, like shaking his head. I'm like, oh, well,
this guy,
that was fun, wasn't it?
That guy somewhere right now today is telling his version of the story.
These guys pulled up beside me and
on his internet show.
Yeah.
Find that guy somewhere. Find his YouTube channel. But as a 16-year-old boy, when you have a car that makes a lot of noise but does not move will not speed up at all, this is debilitating. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill this car. I'm going to murder this car. And I'm going to do it on the way home from high school one day. And so about 2 or 3 weeks later.
Go off a cliff?
Nope. I said, surely if I know that I can't get above 55 miles per hour or 54 miles per hour in this car. Mm-hmm. But I know that I can run it at about 10,000 RPMs. And if I do that for 15 minutes straight coming back from high school one day, it'll die. It can't. It's a 1981 Oldsmobile Omega. It cannot survive this. So sure enough, I leave Harnett Central High School one day out of Andrew, North Carolina, and the whole way home, I'm not passing anybody. In fact, people are passing me. I'm getting passed by school buses. But
that's an exaggeration.
I
think it's illegal.
It is making this noise the entire time. I've like got the radio up. I've got my pedal to the metal the entire time.
People are coming out of their houses like
they're like, what is wrong with that guy's vehicle?
People are pulling off the side of the road thinking it's a new type of emergency vehicle.
They think it's like the nuclear plant has an emergency and it's the siren. Now, I get to Lynch Avenue. I'm still making this noise. Believe it or not, this is absolutely true. Halfway down Lynch Avenue, which is about 300 yards long, it starts going. I come down Lynch Avenue going, and then about halfway it goes, and it completely dies.
And you're like, it's happening, it's happening.
Rolls to a spot right underneath the basketball goal, or right behind the basketball goal in our front, in the street.
And there it sat for 10 years.
Well, it sat there for months. And I got home, I was like, Mom, Dad, something's wrong with the Omega. You're gonna have to make other arrangements. I need another vehicle. They got me one. They got me a 1989 Dodge Dynasty, which was awesome.
Let's check in with Chia Lincoln. He's pretty much meeting our lowered expectations.
Yeah.
Enough said.
We expect nothing.
We expect to see you tomorrow. 2 more days